GOP candidate problems just keep getting worse and worse and worse amid Republican fears that they have nominated an utterly unelectable slate of candidates. The New York Times is reporting that embattled Georgia Republican nominee for Senate Herschel Walker has misrepresented his company's charitable giving. That's despite claims that 15% of his profits would go to charity. Of the 4 charities contacted by the Times, quote, one declined to comment. The other 3 said they had no record or recollection of any gifts from the company in the last decade. This comes on the heels of new reporting that a Republican running for Congress in Ohio has misrepresented his military service. The AP reporting that J.R. Majewski presents himself as an Air Force combat veteran who deployed to Afghanistan after 9/11. But there is a problem. The AP obtained military documents that show he never deployed to Afghanistan. Let's bring in the Rev. Al Sharpton, host of MSNBC's Politics Nation, the president of the National Action Network. And our friend Michael Steele is with us, former RNC chairman and an MSNBC political analyst. Michael Steele, reap what you sow. This is all an extension of Mitch McConnell refusing to convict Donald Trump from inciting a deadly insurrection. And so he put in motion this race to the bottom. And I think what's scarier isn't the ones that are faltering, the ones that might slip through.
Exactly. And that is the main point here at the end of the day, Nicole, is the ones who might slip through. We may focus on a bright, shining object here or there with an incredibly untenable backstory and all kinds of legal or personal troubles. But it is the Kari Lakes of the world that could very easily slip through, the Mastrianos of the world who could slip through. And so the attention level to McConnell's plaintiff plea in the quality of the candidates is real. And it's not just with respect to the ones that are those bright shining objects that are fodder for humor, but the ones who aren't. The scarier ones, the ones who are more determined to be the next iteration of Trump. Trumpism has its hold now, Nicole, as you've talked about and covered so aptly over the last few months. It has its hold. It's not just on the GOP, it's on the country. And so you're going to see more and more of these candidates kind of fit into that mold. And that's where those of us who are trying to guard for and on behalf of democracy need to be steadfast.
I mean, I agree with you. The bozos aren't as scary as the ones who can hide their associations with the extremists and with the autocratic policies. Just name names for me, Michael Steele. Who are you worried about in watching? Kari, it's at the top. The governor of Florida, for all the stuff he's done, it's going to probably get reelected and in a big way. And so you're looking at these individuals in that bucket, but then you have the perpetuators of all of this, the truth deniers who already hold office, the whataboutism that they promote. When you look at a Rubio campaign, when you look at someone like Senator from South Carolina, right, who's pushing out this noise that further fuels the flames here. So when Lindsey Graham is out there, everybody's like, oh, the party's upset that Lindsey said this about abortion. Okay, but that's the least of the concerns when you're looking at the bigger picture about what impact what Lindsey has said and how he has protected Trumpism up to this point. So those are the things we now need to focus on as these campaigns become more in focus for us, Nicole, and we begin to understand more importantly what next year will look like if Republicans have control of the House. Rev, it feels like the president, for his part, is trying to make this nationalized argument about the extreme nature of the Republican Party in Trump's image. Which candidates and campaigns are doing it the best as you travel around the country?
As I travel around the country, I see that if you look at the campaign of Miss Beasley, for example, Judge Beasley in North Carolina, I think she's doing it very well. I think Val Demings in Florida is doing it very well. Stacey Abrams is doing it very well. I think that what has happened in this whole Trumpian era is that they have now tried to reinterpret on the Republican side what is even required to run for office. Because you have to remember, Nicole, Donald Trump was accused of all kinds of things, and even on tape saying things about women, and won anyway. So they're almost trying to make permanent that it doesn't matter if we're lying about your background. Look at him. He wouldn't release his tax returns. And now we're finding out why if you look at the state attorney general's lawsuit. So Herschel Walker didn't do what he said, and he's still within a margin of error in Georgia. I mean, the real fear I have is that we have lowered the bar so in American politics that's acceptable to lie, and there's no standards anymore, because there was a time you'd have to leave the race. Now it's up, it's a bad day, you'll be all right tomorrow. Donald Trump helped normalize that.